Of course, if you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow the page. Make sure to do the turn on notifications on YouTube. Maybe share with your friends, all that stuff. And if you want to join the stream, this is all done on Steam. I stream 5 days a week, Monday to Thursday, and then on Saturdays. The schedule is on my Twitch. Come hang out with us. We talk about random stuff. We check out fighting games and all that good stuff. Enjoy! So, Guilty Gear Strive beta just ended this week. At least the time of when I'm doing this stream. The open beta is now done. We've all had our fair share of Guilty Gear, the new Guilty Gear netcode, gameplay, and all of that stuff. I'm gonna say the things that we all know about it already. The netcode is godlike. People are able to play connections from America to Japan, Europe to Japan, America to Europe with no problem. I mean, there would be some hiccups, of course, if you're playing against someone using Wi-Fi, or if you're using Wi-Fi, that's always gonna be a problem. Usually 180 ms with another opponent is very rough. I don't even want to play games if it's like 150 ms. If it's higher than 100 ms, it's usually pretty questionable. It's kind of sus. But when I played Guilty Gear Strive, I could get 180 ping and the game would still be manageable. It's not ideal, but it's manageable. It's really good because you're not gonna ever want to get 180 ping in any other game. But here, if you get a 180 ping, you wouldn't hate it. Overall experience for the beta, at the very least, it wasn't hard to find the game. Yeah, I think the lobby is still pretty rough. One thing I really don't like about this, you have this news thing on the right side. It's so intrusive. You can't get rid of it. You have to walk around. You can't just sit in one spot, because in other ArcSys games you have like arcade machines, right? You sit in one spot, look for a match there. If someone wants to play with you, they sit beside you, and then you just keep rematching as long as you want to. But here you have to keep going back to the lobby, look for someone else to play, or wait for the other person to ready up again. So lobbies could be a lot better, for sure. This is a mechanic that is very important to fighting games right now. I feel like being able to go to training mode while matchmaking, it's always a nice thing to have. You can test out your stuff while waiting for people to play. So matchmaking is perfectly fine. Oh, actually, not perfectly fine. It's not perfectly fine, because what I don't like about the matchmaking here, what happens is you don't search for a game globally, which is weird, right? So this is what the lobby looks like. This is like a park, right? Let's pretend you're this person. What happens is, if you matchmake in Guilty Gear Strive, they send you into a lobby, and then you wait for a match over there. So this guy, if you're matchmaking in training mode, you have like a dumbbell or like a barbell logo somewhere on this side of your card, which signifies that you are in training mode. I don't like that you're not able to just search globally. If you go to matchmaking, I want them to be able to search every single person who's looking for a game and then matchmake you with someone else who's looking for a game. I don't like the fact that they put you in a lobby, they make you search for games in that lobby. Because I feel like that is what's happening. They never said anything about it, but it looks like that is what's happening. I also don't like that you can't set your connection strength. Like in other games, right? If you do matchmaking, you're able to say, okay, I only want people who have 4 bars or 3 bars. I don't want to play with people with 3 bars, but I only want people to have 4 bars to be matched with, or like 5 bars to be matched with. When you're matched with someone, you don't even know what their ping is with you up until you agree and then you start playing. So you don't know if your connection is going to be good or not. So I really wish they changed that about the matchmaking. The tower floor progression is an interesting take. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically like this. If you're in the lower floor, if you're assigned to second floor, that means you're pretty new to the game. If you're assigned in the upper floors like 8, 9, 10, that means you're good in the game already. And then you're like, if you're 5, 6, 7, that means you're probably around average. They don't give you a rank. They just assign you to a floor and then they lock you to that floor. So if you're at 7th floor, you can play 7th floor to 10th floor. You can play in all those floors. You can play against people who are better than you or people who are in your skill level. But you can't play against lower floors because that's unfair to the people in the lower floors. I don't really hate it or like it. I think it's just, it's cool, I guess. If you don't like it, do let me know. I don't know how people's opinions on this. I think maybe people like the just having a rank because you have a tangible way of saying how good you actually are rather than just being set to a certain floor. The tutorial mode is something that's very important because if you have people who are going to be trying out the game for the first time and they never played Guilty Gear or fighting games, they wouldn't understand it. So let's say Toop here, our mod, decides he wants to play the game and wants to learn it. You go to the tutorial because you want to learn it. The tutorial mode in the beta is terrible. It's so bad. They tell you, okay, these are the buttons that you press to attack. Now attack. You finish this tutorial by killing your enemy. And that's how you do it. It tells you which one to attack, how do you move forward, how do you move back, how do you dash, and then that's it. They're like, okay, now you know how to move, now you know how to attack. Go, just, I don't know, mash, I guess. Just kill the enemy, that's it. That's all you get for the tutorial. But I think they're gonna be adding missions. The missions is still in development. So hopefully, I think the missions will actually be a much better way of learning the game. I just had to say that this tutorial was really bad. I think the missions are gonna be different. I think if you're new to the game or new to fighting games, you'd want to do the missions because usually when you have Guilty Gear missions, that's how they teach you the mechanics of the game. A tutorial here was bad, but I think it's not gonna be a problem. We're gonna have missions on release. So tutorial mode in Guilty Gear Strive. Oh, by the way, this is the video by High Fight. I'm just using this just to show you because I wasn't able to record or anything. I don't have a capture card for the PS4. So it looks like an ArcSys game. If you play Dragon Ball FighterZ, you'll know that this looks very similar to Dragon Ball FighterZ. It just feels like a normal training mode in ArcSys games. But the difference here is in Dragon Ball FighterZ you have frames. Here you don't have frames. You don't know the frame data of your moves. Hopefully they'll add it though. And then yeah, here is like a closer look as to what you can do. You have opponent state. You can change the counter hit, stance, block, which is cool. You can say whether you want the wall break to be normal, to not work, or whatever. You can make the bot automatically automatically burst or do Roman cancel. What I want them to do is to have on guard options or on wake up actions, just like what they do in Street Fighter 5, so that you can set up Okies. If you knock down an opponent, you'll know which moves you can do that will interrupt their wake-ups. Okay, we'll look at the UI next. Look at the UI and we all know what's with the UI. Look at this. This is an example. This is a tweet by Ultima Shadow X. Whenever you do a combo which is called a beat, you have this huge ass number. And not only that, you have counter. So what happens if you do a counter move? The screen shakes, it zooms in, the announcer says counter like really loudly, and you have the huge text that says counter. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell whether you land a counter hit or not. Look, you have positive, you have counter, you have all this effects on screen. So the first time I played it, this was very jarring. I could not get over the fact there was so many text going on in the background. This stopped being a problem for me after probably an hour or two of playing the game. And then with all of that out of the way, I think gameplay is the next thing on the list. As you will probably be able to see, there are lots of jumping. This game is supposed to be simplified, a bit slower than other Guilty Gear games, but you still have lots of dashing forward, dashing backward, lots of air dashes, lots of jumping. So it's still fast-paced. It's very unga bunga. People love throwing attacks. You counter hit a lot of times in this game because you're always throwing out attacks. It's very unga bunga, and some characters are more unga bunga than other characters are, for sure. But in general, you throw out attacks very often. It's not as low as Street Fighter 5 for sure. The throw here is so fast. It almost feels like you can interrupt someone's buttons by just mashing your throw button. So you can throw someone out of their Oki setup. I feel like sometimes you can throw on wake up. That's what it feels like. I feel like throwing on wake up is actually a pretty safe option. There's fewer gattlings. Which means a lot of buttons are like slash to heavy slash is like something that I think works for every single character. I don't mind the fact that there are fewer gattlings, especially coming from Street Fighter. Well, I came from Tekken and then Street Fighter and then other games like Dragon Ball FighterZ and stuff. I enjoy the slower gameplay more. I don't really mind that there are fewer gattlings here in this game. For me, in my opinion, I like it more, but people have their tastes. People have their different opinions on it. So you could have a different take on it. Maybe you enjoy having more gattlings. Character specific stuff. I won't be talking about everyone in terms of all the characters. There's just some characters that I'll be talking about. First of all, we have to talk about this. Soul. He has a dash cancel. His kick or his close slash is dash cancelable. This is an example. This is a video by Neokyo 2K Gaming. So here what you can do, that's kick to dash. So if you press the dash button, which you can bind, or just do the forward motion on your stick, it cancels the move into a dash, which is very interesting because I think it's only specific to Soul. I don't think any other character can do it. This person is showcasing moves that you can do that usually should not be able to do with Soul. Soul has a move where he dashes forward and does like an uppercut like motion. I don't remember what it was called. It's this one, I'll show you. There, that one. That part where he dashes forward and then hits you up like that and like an uppercut motion, that's not a move that you can cancel into from a normal. But because of the dash cancel, you're able to do that, which showed us that an infinite is possible. So Soul has an infinite. You can bring your opponent all the way to the other side of the screen by doing that. But the motion, it's not really easy. For my sake, it was easier for when I binded the dash to a button rather than using the stick. I tried both. One felt like easier than the other. I just hope they don't remove the dash cancel. Make it so that you can't have an infinite. Maybe like after 1 or 2, make the knockback much larger so you can't combo anymore. I'll go back to this because the next ones, I'm not gonna be showcasing them anymore. I'll just talk about them. Just some characters I will talk about. Potemkin, everyone is complaining about Potemkin. Potemkin doesn't need to do his command grabs to do damage. He does damage whether or not he does command grabs. So a lot of people are complaining about that. I wonder if they're gonna nerf him or not. Ram, of course, has the huge swords. She has incredible damage for sure. She can hit you from it feels like almost full screen. Her air normals, her grounded normals are all huge range. She's pretty annoying because it feels like you can never get in, especially if your character has to get in. It's so difficult because it feels like she just hits you without you ever getting in range. Just like Soul, she has a meterless combo, but not as broken as Soul's meterless combo. Not everyone has like a meterless combo unless they're in the corner, but she does have one mid-screen. And she has incredible wall pressure because whenever she throws her sword and you're behind the wall, you're forced to block the explosion because whenever she throws a sword, it stays on the wall and then it explodes after a couple of frames. So you have to take that block pressure. If you start moving forward, you get hit by the explosion and then she can combo off of that, or she can go in, pressure you even more. So wall pressure, range, a lot of it's pretty insane. All of people are saying that she's feeling really good right now. We have the new characters. So about Nagoriyuki and Giovanna, the new characters we have, which have fucking incredible design, to say the least. So Nagoriyuki has big damage, fucking huge damage. He can hit you for half health with ease. But of course you have the blood gauge. So whenever he does a special, his blood gauge fills up, and then when it's full, he goes berserk mode, and then his health starts decreasing. Like it decreases by a big amount. I think people before were worried about the blood gauge being a problem. Like imagine if you're playing Nagoriyuki and then you feel like you'll never be able to play properly because you'll always be increasing your blood gauge, but it felt like that wasn't really a problem. You can win a game without filling up your blood gauge. Yeah, even if you have the blood gauge, if you go berserk mode, he deals so much damage. He has a full screen super which catches a lot of people off guard. Nagoriyuki is pretty fun. He doesn't have a dash because he has so much range. He's meant to be grounded. And then Giovanna, you're seeing right now. Giovanna is this girl with a wolf played by Kazunoko. Giovanna is the other new character. She's fairly easy to learn. She doesn't have difficult combos. Fairly simple character, so a lot of people started learning her the first 2 days of beta, and people found out how easy she is to pick up. I mean, she is pretty fun to play. She has an interesting mechanic though. She goes Hulk mode when she goes full tension. She goes green or the color of the wolf, and then she does increased damage, and you have damage reduction as well. So whenever people hit you, they hit you for less damage when you're in Hulk mode. There we go. There. As you can see, she's green. She has entered Hulk mode, and her attacks now do a little bit more damage, and their attacks against her do a little less damage as well. It's a very simple install. You don't have to worry about it. It just does its thing for you while you're playing the game. And then that's it for the characters I mentioned. I've been playing Kai. Kai is still pretty fun to play. Kizzy thinks he's still a good character. People are saying that Kai is always gonna be a good character. But we have lots of monsters now. Overall, I would say highly satisfactory. I think a lot of people say that it's a fun game, and I really think it's a fun game as well. It's easier to get into it compared to the other Guilty Gear, but it's still a pretty fast game. A quick rundown. Cons first, matchmaking. Still, I wish they would change it. Please don't put us in a lobby ArcSys and then matchmake there. Please let us matchmake search globally. And then I wish they will also add being able to set connection strengths. I want to be matched with people only with a specific amount of ping against me. No rematch is a thing. You can't rematch after a game, but I feel like that's probably gonna be added after on release. UI or combo count and the counter could be a con. You get used to it though after a while, so I think it's not a big problem. Tutorial is terrible, but I think missions might be perfectly fine when they add it, and that would be your gateway into the game, which is the missions, not the tutorial that they had in the beta. Gameplay could be a pro, could be a con, because you have the jumping, dashing, and how fast the game is. It could be a con because people were expecting it to be more grounded, or a lot of people were talking about how slower it's gonna be, and it feels like it's not really that slow. But it depends on the player, how fast, how much jumping and dashing there is. Depends on the player if you see it as a pro or a con. Training mode, I just wish they'd add an on guard and on block and on wake up action commands that you can set to the bot there. And then of course the pro, I don't have to milk it anymore. Everyone knows Netcode's a pro. Netcode's godlike. It helps. This is the most fun ArcSys fighting game to be played as of date. Combos are pretty much still open-ended. It's fun to go on training mode and check out the types of combos you can do. Experimentation is always going to be fun in training mode for a fighting game like this. And then every character is pretty much satisfying. I think they're pretty satisfying in their own way. And the simplification of the Gatling makes it easier for beginners to get into it. But I don't think it's like very beginner friendly as compared to how people might have been expecting before. I think I just want to say last words. Just a final message to ArcSys. ArcSys, please. Please don't remove Soul's Dash Cancel. In any case, maybe just increase the scaling of the combo knockback when you're doing the upper infinite. maybe after like 1 or 2, they're pretty far away, so you can't hit them anymore. I enjoyed the last few moments of Guilty Gear Strive, just perfecting, learning Souls dash cancel. It's so fun. So yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on the whole Guilty Gear Strive beta. I can't wait. We only have like a month and a couple of weeks until it's released. Oh god, I can't wait for it. Dude, I just want to play the game already. I'm getting withdrawal. I'm having withdrawal because the beta has ended and I can't play it anymore.